Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
It's Wild Card Weekend, and you can follow all the action at BetOnline.net. For the first time in league history, 6 games are on the board during the opening round of the playoffs. Feature games Saturday include Indy at Buffalo and LA at Seattle. On Sunday, Chicago visits the Big Easy, while divisional rivals Cleveland and Pittsburgh square off. Check out all the action this week at BetOnline.net as the journey to Tampa gets underway. Always available online or your mobile device. Visit BetOnline.net today. Bring the game home at BetOnline.net. It's Wild Card Weekend, and you can follow all the action at BetOnline.net. For the first time in league history, 6 games are on the board during the opening round of the playoffs. Feature games Saturday include Indy at Buffalo and LA at Seattle. On Sunday, Chicago visits the Big Easy, while divisional rivals Cleveland and Pittsburgh square off. Check out all the action this week at BetOnline.net as the journey to Tampa gets underway. Always available online or your mobile device. Visit BetOnline.net today. Bring the game home at BetOnline.net.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Welcome to Sporgy, the show that gives you half-ass sports fans giving their half-ass opinions. And now, here are your hosts.
It's Fantasy Hack. It's week 9 already. It's 4 weeks till playoffs, kids. I'm Chris. Jack's hanging out with me.
Yeah. Hello.
No JR. He's in Las Vegas. Oh, he could use some of your advice later for when you lay down the line. He could play some of those bets.
He really should. He said when we used to live there, he did.
Oh yeah, I recently learned about sports betting, and I don't think that's a good thing. But
I don't think he won very much.
So how was your week? I had after my worst week of the year, I rebounded, but not that great. But bye weeks are killing me. And I also ran into Mike Evans. I ran into him the first time he went off, and I won. This time, not so much. How about you?
Well, I went 2-3. I want to thank Chase Edmonds for getting a whole 6 yards. I also want to thank Brandon Cooks for getting injured.
Yeah, that
2 seconds into the game.
Yeah, that goose egg he hung up did hurt me, and I couldn't. It was a difference between 2-3 and 3-3 because of Brandon Cooks.
Well, I mean, I'm shocked by today. I got to get it off, but I mean, no noticeable trades for the trade deadline. It was really lame today.
Hey, you're
expecting some big moves.
Your team in the desert made a move. You guys got Kenyon Drake.
Oh yeah, Kenyon Drake, which was shocking. But I think the most shocking move of the day was Aqib Talib to the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Really? I mean, maybe they're just trying to bring a veteran guy in to teach the younger guys, but that's about all I can think of. I mean, that was just a head scratcher for me.
Maybe he's more hurt than they're letting on, but I also heard too they're using it to they want to lock up Jalen Ramsey for next year, and they need money.
Cap space.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
And I'm just wondering if that Arizona move means. Well, somebody's season is over, whether it's David Johnson or Chase Edmonds.
Well, I still remember it was draft night for one of my leagues, and I was about to draft, and my dad was in the room, so I was about to draft. I forget who it was. I was going to draft, I think Kamara or something, and I was 99% sure. My dad's "Oh, David Johnson's the 5th graded guy, and on the RotoWire thing, draft him." I was "You sure?" So I drafted him, and I really should have went with my gut on that one because, he has not really turned out.
He's really only had, 1 or 2 good fantasy seasons? The rest have all been average or plagued by injury?
Well, at least he's not Devontae Freeman. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
That would have been... Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's get to the games this week.
Yes.
Let me bring up ESPN. I don't have the fancy RotoWire like your dad does. We start with the Thursday night game, Minnesota, Washington.
Oh yeah.
Any surprises here?
It was kind of close at the beginning, but don't we say that about all those games?
Yeah, for a second, Cleveland was in their game this Sunday, but
Yeah, my bold prediction. Yeah, that really went well.
I forget, what was your bold prediction?
Remember, New England. New England's going down.
Oh, that's right. You thought something special was going to happen.
Yeah, and then Baker Mayfield and the Browns decided to turn the ball over on 3 consecutive snaps. 3 consecutive offensive snaps, they turned the ball over.
That team is just a bust this year.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know how you would feel if you're a Nick Chubb owner and he breaks that gigantic run and he's about to cap it off with a touchdown and he fumbles at like the 5-yard line. We went from like so high to so low in the span of like a second. That's just horrible.
It's kind of like a microcosm of the Browns' year. Expectations started out real high, and now, I mean, I'll at least give it to them. They're not the dumpster fire that the Cleveland Browns usually are, but still, I mean, they are wildly underperforming their expectations.
It's pretty rough out there in Cleveland.
But hey, at least they're not Washington.
Oh my gosh, ridiculous.
Yeah, it looks like the NFC North is going to be Minnesota and Green Bay, and if you had to ask me, it's probably going to be Green Bay.
We'll get to the Bears.
Yeah. Darius Geis, think he's worth picking up in any leagues?
I mean, until we're confident that he's 100% back and they're going to have full commitment with him, I think down the stretch they're going to throw all the rookies in. I don't think we'll see much of Keenum or any of those guys. I think, we'll get Haskins, and then we'll get Geis. I think that Haskins is just going to try to learn, and then Geis trying to learn from AP.
Because, I mean, the only Redskin worth rostering is Terry McLaurin. And Adrian Peterson if you're desperate. And I've only started McLaurin once, just because you can't trust that offense.
Did you start him in the Dolphins game? Is that it?
I think so, actually.
Well, he did have a good game. So, I mean.
Dalvin Cook is Dalvin Cook. Stephon Diggs, another big game, but that'll happen when Thielen's out. I like how this offense looks. They gotta play better teams for me to know if Minnesota's any good. But moving on to the Sunday slate, we'll start. Well, like I said, I'm using ESPN, so I'll just start with Seattle at Atlanta. Oh man, that was a predictable L taken there by the Falcons. Atlanta was a little closer than I thought it would be.
Oh, I mean, yeah, they made it close at the end. I think it was like, what, 24-30, 27-30?
Yeah. It's 27-20.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought it was a 30. No, 27. Okay. Yeah, 20. I got confused. 27-20.
And Matt Schaub throws for 460 yards. Don't get excited.
Oh, yeah, he did have a good day. But
don't get excited, kids.
That ain't happening anymore.
I wouldn't pick him up as a streamer, anything like that.
Metcalf, 2 touchdowns?
Yeah, but just still playing into that whole boom or bust thing with that guy, though. That's he's either going to get you 2 touchdowns or no touchdowns.
He's going to have, there's a measly day, 37 yards, something like that.
But he does seem to be getting some more looks with Will Disley gone.
Mm-hmm.
The rushing leader, not a lot of rushing in this game. The rushing leader had a whole 90 yards, Chris Carson.
Well, I was weird because I was reading online today and I saw Rashad Penny has a great breakout game with 55 yards. I'm like, could you call that a breakout game?
And yeah, I guess with 90 yards he was the top rusher, maybe. Julio, no matter who throws to him, apparently. But yeah, Devontae Freeman. If you own Devontae Freeman, you find yourself probably in a similar place that Joe Mixon owners are finding themselves in. You want to drop him, but you technically can't.
You really can't.
Yeah. So you just kind of keep a spot warm on your bench for him and kind of cross your fingers. Austin Hooper is
6 for 65 and 1 touchdown.
Yeah. Just continuing to be the best tight end in the league this year. Someone had to do it. Zach Ertz isn't doing it.
Nope.
Kittle's taking his time. Gronk just left. So...
yeah, for how long, though? That's the question.
It's true. Philly at Buffalo. Your Eagles going to win.
Yeah, that was it's pretty shocking there. And I thought we may have pulled it out, but I mean, in a blowout fashion, I'm happy. I'm surprised.
I tell you, Buffalo's got themselves a defense, but they don't have an offense. And as sputtering as Philadelphia's offense is this year, it's better than Buffalo's. And it showed.
Well, when the narrative is usually keeping the offense on the field, and the Eagles, well, we're keeping them, keeping the defense out there for long enough, and I think they just got tired towards the end. I think they were just breaking it open at the ends. I think defense was just tired after offense was like 3 and out. Couldn't get anything going.
And it seems like Jordan Howard's the back to own here.
Now are we going to start considering Dallas Goedert as a good player here? I mean, he had a touchdown in the game.
A lot of the fantasy football podcasts I've been listening to the last couple of days are kind of sharing that thought. Like we might be seeing the rise of Goddard. Ertz is.
Well, then Ertz will have a good year next year because everybody will double Goddard, and then Ertz will go off. That's why you got to have two good tight ends.
But you got to think though, with the season Ertz had last year, you had to respect a little bit of regression this year.
Mm-hmm. Come back down to earth.
Yeah, Alshon.
Me. What?
Yeah.
Matt.
Yeah.
If he play.
Yeah. Deshaun Jackson's supposed to come back. Miles Sanders is injured.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
Oh, Miles Sanders had a good game though. He did that.
He ripped off that run, and now his shoulder's hurt.
Yeah, now his shoulder's hurt. So we'll see what goes down there.
Yeah, I keep thinking Deshaun. I think Deshaun Jackson's done playing. I think
the year.
Forever. I think part of bringing him back to Philadelphia was so he could retire in that uniform. And I think this abdominal strain that's kept him out for what, 2 months already? I mean,
it was weird because we still have no clue how the injury happened. Mm-hmm. Because it was like, he's ready to go against the Falcons, and then all of a sudden here comes game time, and Deshaun Jackson's not playing. And we still have no clue why. Like, what happened? Was he injured in warm-up or something?
I think he might be done. But that's just me. Buffalo, Singletary gets, what? Did he 1 or 2 touchdowns? Just 1?
Oh, I got the phone over here. Singletary. Let's see. He only had 1. It was a receiving touchdown. Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah, Frank Gore's still getting most of the carries, but I have a feeling they're just going to keep working Singletary back in more and more because Frank Gore's like 80. And really, anyone on the Buffalo offense you really want to own?
What's his name? Ross is like a bench guy. I don't think he should ever start.
Like, what's his name? Josh Allen for bye weeks? Maybe.
He does stuff with his legs sometimes.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah, there's nobody I really trust other than Singletary in that offense. Here you go. The Chargers at the Bears.
Oh, no, John Brown, not John Ross. No, John Brown. That's what I was thinking of.
The one takeaway from the Chargers at the Bears is, my opinion, these two teams are terrible.
Oh, my gosh. Let-down year for both teams, actually. No, I'm surprised because the reaction I saw from Bears fans was not, absolutely, hammering down Pinheiro, but they're mad at Nagy for the bad play calling towards the end, which, I'm kind of happy that they're holding other guys accountable other than just the kicker.
Yeah, but Nagy defended himself, but the Bears' offense is awful. Like, that's... David Montgomery finally shows up. Don't get used to that. I think that's going to be the exception more than the rule. There's... Allen Robinson is your pass catcher of note. Trey Burton is just pretty much a ghost.
Invisible.
Yeah. The Chargers, I don't understand. They have all their offensive weapons. They got Hunter Henry. They got Melvin Gordon. They got Keenan Allen. They got Old Man Rivers. I don't know what the Chargers' deal is this year.
Well, reports are coming out that they're looking to move on from Rivers, and, what I saw is that they're going to target Joe Burrow as the next quarterback. So, see how that plays
LSU
out.
Guy?
Yeah. I read this and I was like, wow.
Are they going to
Rivers is just...
Because if Burrow
I don't
wins
think they should tank.
What's it? if Burrow wins the Heisman, he's going first. So unless the Chargers plan on not winning any more games.
Well, Tagovailoa but he's actually having a bit of a letdown.
Yeah, I have him on my college fantasy team, and he has been, while Alabama is doing what Alabama is supposed to be doing this year, he has been wildly underperforming expectations. He's third on the list. He's behind Jalen Hurts and Joe Burrow. So
shall see.
Miami may not be tanking for Tua. They might be tanking for Jalen Hurts. All right, Giants at the Lions.
Oh, my God. Well, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, Galladay has a good day. Stafford has a good day. For everyone who ran out and grabbed Ty Johnson, oops, because Trey Carson got the start. Saquon does 64 on the ground, but I believe in the air was where he shined, and he had 2 touchdowns.
Let me see.
Don't get excited, Lions fans, that you're 3-3, because the Giants almost won this game and they were competitive.
5-point game.
Yeah. The Giants aren't that great this year, and they were competitive with you. So, Lions fans, yeah, don't get excited. Anyone on the Giants worth owning other than Saquon or Evan Ingram?
There could be one occasion. There's only one occasion of it at Barkley when the Giants play the Miami Dolphins. I don't know when that is. It is week 15, ladies and gentlemen. Mark your calendars.
There you go.
Only time you'll be able to use anybody other than Barkley on the New York Giants defense against the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, Lions, I mean, Stafford, Galladay, everyone else is a crapshoot.
Marvin Jones.
Yeah, which after his huge game pretty much vanished. Because that's what they do. Tampa Bay.
A whole 22 yards.
Yeah. Tampa Bay at Tennessee. Yuck. Again, but Mike Evans goes off again. It seems to be the boomer bust year for Mike Evans. You're getting 3 points or you're getting 40. There's no in between.
And then famous Jameis, inconsistent as always.
Yeah.
And look at that. 2 touchdowns, but he had 2 picks, was sacked 3 times. He lost 2 fumbles. I gotta understand. He'll look like, Brady one drive, and then he'll turn into Baker Mayfield the next. Doesn't understand. I don't understand him at all.
I got a couple of friends who are Bucs fans, and they just, I don't
know what to say.
They won between, that year it was between, Jameis and Mariota. They came out of they're on the right side of history on that one in Tampa Bay, but ain't that great. Godwin did all right. The Tampa Bay running game, no one wants any part of it, not even Tampa Bay. Derrick Henry did. Ryan Tannehill, though, comes in and gets himself a W.
Yeah, he's doing it. 3 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm. Denver at Indianapolis.
That was actually a good game. Indianapolis actually won in comeback fashion. Denver was actually leading early.
Mm-hmm. Joe Flacco it's already been benched.
Now he's out. He's injured. His neck.
Yeah, that's allegedly.
So he could be out 5 to 6 weeks. But he was seeking a second opinion.
Well, I'm guessing
his
neck
in the
might
fantasy
be
world, no one cares.
Kind of like Jalen Hurts' back was. He popped off in the media. Joe Flacco said some not very nice things to the media after the game on Sunday, and all of a sudden
blaming play calling.
Yeah, and all of a sudden his neck's hurt.
Yep.
So yeah, Cortland Sutton, decent game for him, but quiet compared to how he's been going. Marlon Mack. Jacoby Brissett, that's a guy.
It's legit.
Yeah, someone that if you need a quarterback, if you're hurting at QB, if you need someone to pick up for bye weeks, definitely take a look at that guy.
He had no touchdowns in this game.
Yeah, but everyone has left Indianapolis for dead when Luck retired, and
yeah, man, but he's proven his worth. You wonder why they signed him that 2-year contract as soon, and there's your reason why he's proven the doubters wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, in Denver, I think Cortland Sutton and Royce Freeman, Phillip Lindsay, It's probably only people you want on that offense. The Bengals well,
Oh no.
it was a road game for everyone in London, but yeah, Bengals and the Rams.
Blowout.
Joe Mixon, welcome to the league. Thanks for showing up this season. Cooper Kupp, just wow, he is having a year, isn't he?
Well, I mean, he caught that bomb in the beginning of the game, and he never looked back.
Mm-hmm. Jared Goff throws
220 receiving yards.
Yeah,
That's insane. On only 7 catches.
Mm-hmm.
7 catches.
But again, the Rams running game, where you at?
Doesn't exist.
Yeah.
What is going on with Gurley?
He's hurt, man. It's that knee.
It's that arthritis. I mean, I think they should trade him, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you have no clue what's going to happen here. I mean, who you got behind it? What, Malcolm Brown?
Who's injured. So it's the Darrell Henderson show at the moment.
It is.
And yeah, like I said, Brandon Cooks goes out of the game, goes into the concussion protocol, and apparently he's going to a specialist because it's his second concussion this year.
Oh, yeah.
It's an executive decision. I'm making it. Don't fault J.R. Jack for this one, but I'm saying if you got Brandon Cooks, you go ahead and drop him.
Drop him.
Arizona at New Orleans. Drew Brees, welcome back.
Yes, sir.
Almost 400 yards. Think his thumb is okay.
It's more than okay after that performance.
No Kamara, no problem.
373, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. And Michael Thomas continues to be Michael Thomas.
Oh, Michael Thomas had a game. I was watching that. 112 yards and a touchdown. That touchdown he scored was just great. There was like 3 guys about to tackle him, and he was able to spin out of everybody and get in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
That's talent.
He's tiny, and he's quick. And that works at wide receiver.
Yes, it does.
Arizona, oof. I mean, yeah, it's...
Well, I mean, did you come into the game expecting a win? No.
No.
I kind of expected them to remain competitive, but with 9 points,
Well, I was saying, just more for your running back woes.
Come on, Edmonds, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Well, I got all excited when I was looking at his stats because I was like, wow, 74. Oh, return yards.
Yeah, both David Johnson and Edmonds are hurt. Kenyon Drake is now a Cardinal. Christian Kirk came back, though. I mean, but that's, yeah. And Larry Fitzgerald, not really a factor. But, hey, at least you're not the Redskins, right, Arizona? Or you're not the Jets, either. Jets at Jacksonville. Sam Darnold not seeing any ghosts, but...
That was funny. They played Ghostbusters and highlights before the game at the stadium.
Yeah.
Big screen.
Oh, yeah, too. There was and then too, someone made like a statue outside of the stadium, like a makeshift statue. Oh, yeah. Chris Conley, the guy who comes out of nowhere in this game, might be worth picking up on waivers as long as D.D. Westbrook is injured, but I wouldn't get excited about him.
He did make my waiver wire this week, he did.
I got a couple claims in for him, too. Leonard Fournette had a very Leonard Fournette game. And yet, Minshew Magic
Good job.
rolls on. Does Nick Foles finish the season in a Jacksonville uniform?
I'm trying to remember what his deal was. It was like, 3 years?
I think so.
I think his deal was 3 years. And, I feel like, you think the Colts could use him? Or you think they should just stick with Brissett? I think they should stick with Brissett. I think he's doing just fine.
Not for another podcast I listened to. I like their theory. Send him to the Bears.
Bears, I like it. Maybe that or what was it?
But yeah, Jacksonville they're not world beaters, but they're not the garbage pile we thought they would be.
The definition of mediocrity.
Yes. And then Carolina at San Francisco. San Francisco, wow.
Oh my God.
Hanging up 51 on Carolina.
So we should add 2 words. San Francisco running backs.
Oof.
And defense, and Nick Bosa.
Yeah.
Bosa, too good.
We got Tevin Coleman.
Oh my God, it was a bona fide stud.
Did he end up with 3 or 4 touchdowns?
Let me look. I know he's on the MVP lineup, so I gotta take a look. Let me see. He had 3 rushing touchdowns and a receiving touchdown.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and Jimmy G being average, but doesn't matter. It's all he needs to be. The defense has his back. It's
weird. I'm in a league with you can have an IR slot, so you can put him on IR, and then you still have an extra roster spot. So when I put Breeze on IR, I picked up Garoppolo and Cousins, because my other 2 quarterbacks were Roethlisberger and Mason Rudolph. No, it was Mason. It was Roethlisberger and Keenum. So I picked up Cousins and what's his name, Garoppolo. So now I don't know what to do, because I have to take Breeze off IR and I have to drop one of these quarterbacks, and I don't know who to take, because Cousins is very inconsistent, and Garoppolo will just sit there and throw for 150 yards, a pick, and a touchdown. I mean, just average.
I'd keep Cousins because he's at least got a receiving core.
Oh yeah.
Jimmy G's got Emmanuel Sanders, and he just got him.
That's it. Yep.
There's no chemistry there yet. Oh, he's got Kittle,
he's just a flat guy. He's not throwing for the big passes.
Cousins has an arsenal. That's how I look at it. But again, in this game, CMC, he's CMC. He's essentially Carolina's offense. Kittle has a nice day. But yeah, like I said, the headliner of this game was Tevin Coleman and that San Francisco defense. Man.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. What's hilarious is they're only the second best defense in the league. Because this next game, we all know.
Oh, no.
Who has the best defense in the league? Cleveland at New England.
Well, I'll give you a sneak peek on my MVP lineup for a 3rd straight week, New England.
Yeah.
Made the list.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Tom Brady, Edelman, Chubb, and who else in this game?
I'm trying to remember what. Somebody different. Somebody new. How's Sanu do, actually? I want to check that out real quick. How did Sanu do in his first game?
Not well.
I think he's still getting adjusted there. I mean,
yeah.
At what? Yeah, 2 of 5 for 23. That's it. You have to expect that. But
so did Sony Michel did all right, didn't he?
I have him. I remember watching the game. I think he. Wait a minute. Yeah, he had 74 rushing yards. Because he was actually doing pretty good. I remember he's getting herringed off. He was getting decent yardage, 5 yards each time.
Yeah, it took him a while, but it seems like Sony Michel is off the bust list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, OBJ. I got a league where I got to. Again, he's in that boat with Joe Mixon. I'm not dropping OBJ, but I hope he likes to bench.
52 receiving yards. That's it. I'll expect that from a Kenny Stills, but when you're the primetime guy that everybody wants to own. Yeah,
when they backed up the Brinks truck to pay you, yeah, you should be giving them those kind of games. But
he's Baker's chuck and duck guy. He's got to throw it up, and you got to make the play.
Mm-hmm. Oakland at Houston. Oakland, a lot more competitive in this game than we expected.
I think that Oakland's actually all right. I think their defense is horrible, but I think, they're an okay team. Tyrell Williams?
It just makes me wonder what they would have been had Antonio Brown not been an idiot.
Oh my!
They could probably be competing for their division. But yeah, Tyrell Williams, guy that I picked up off the waiver wire in a few leagues simply because he had a bye and he was injured, and a few people cut bait with him.
Wow!
And I viewed it as a chance to pick up somebody's first string receiver.
3 catches for 91 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
On 3 catches, he's averaging 30 yards a reception.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
I mean, that's how he was in. I keep wanting to say San Diego. That's how he was on the Chargers. You know, he was a big play guy. He was their deep guy on the Chargers. Houston.
Watson. I threw that in a ridiculous pass, and if you saw it.
I think Darren Fells finally gets himself on the waiver radar this week.
Well, I mean, I put him 2 weeks ago that he had 6 yards, and of course I have to say, my guys from last week so of course last week I had to be, wow, all 6 yards, and of course, has 2 touchdowns this week.
Well, because I think initially they were kind of going with tight end by committee in Houston, and it seems like he is emerging there as the go-to tight end for Deshaun Watson.
Well, I'm starting to see a pattern in terms of waivers. We pick up a guy on waivers, we put him on the bench, we wait for him to prove himself. He has a big game, and then we're like, all right, this guy's proven himself, he deserves a spot on my team. We put him in at the starting lineup, and then he has a crap day.
Yeah.
So there you go. He's proved himself. So now everybody's going to put him in, and he'll return back to form next week.
Yeah. D-Hop coming back from the dead, but no touchdowns.
Come on, D-Hop.
You know, it had to be a rough day on the ground when Carlos Hyde is your leading rusher for both teams, and it's not 2012.
Will Will Fuller be back?
I don't
think he will.
Yeah, I keep hearing it.
It says doubtful hamstring.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll be coming back.
Yeah, I am not sure about the Texans this year. Yeah, they're 5-3, but I don't know.
They should win the division. I'm trying to think. Aren't they in the AFC? No. Yeah, AFC South, right?
I said that they're contending with the Colts.
Oh, yeah, it's the Colts, the Jags, them, obviously, and, one more, I think.
Colts, Jags, Texans, and...
who's that last team in that division?
Colts, Jags, Texans...
Oh, Carolina. Oh, no, they're in the NFC, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in the NFC. God, who is it? Who's that last team? Tennessee. That's who it is. Man, sounds like a mediocrity fest in that entire division.
And then
I think it's going to come down to the Colts and the Texans.
Ooh, that's a hot take. Sunday night game, Green Bay at Kansas City. Aaron Rodgers. Man,
oh my Lord.
How many people were leaving Green Bay for dead at the beginning? So many people were. They're rebuilding. Aaron Rodgers is getting old. And I felt like I was one of the only people going, excuse me.
You okay?
They're still Green Bay. They still have Aaron Rodgers.
I think he's mad about missing the playoffs.
Yeah.
He's trying to do something this year.
305. And then Aaron Jones is your leading receiver and rusher.
Oh, well, he's... Again, you never know who's going to have the big day.
Yeah.
Is it Williams? Is it Jones?
Mm-hmm. And then
start both of them.
Matt Moore. 267 and 2 touchdowns.
That's not bad, but I credited him until when he had to come up clutch and lead the team down the field for the win, and he didn't deliver. The game doesn't matter unless you can pull it out at the end there.
Yeah.
And he did not.
Then Shady was doing fine until he fumbled, and then they didn't give him the ball again. Oh, no, he did
fumble, yeah. Oh, yeah, they handed off to, Williams?
Mm-hmm.
He scored. You mean Williams' first touchdown since when?
Exactly. It got to be a month-ish.
Well, you just never know with those guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when Hill was hurt and they just, chucked a bunch of randos in receiver.
Yeah.
You didn't know who was going to have the big day. Was it going to be Hardman? Was it going to be Pringle? Was it going to be, what's his name?
Watkins.
Watkins. You never know.
But yeah, Green Bay 7-1.
Fine. Who would have thought that they would lose to the Eagles at home? They would go to Dallas and beat the unbeaten Cowboys.
Well, that's the thing, that Green Bay's 3-0 on the road.
Yeah,
that's a big deal.
That's what you need. You need a good road team.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be good on the road to win in this league.
And the Chiefs are 1-3 at home. Yikes, Chiefs.
I mean, other than they lost to the Colts. I remember watching that Colts game. Like, wow, I'm shocked. The Colts are taking the L, and I thought the Colts would take the L, and they won. And then here come the Packers storming into town. Now I get Mahomes is not there, but I mean, even though he's the center of the offense, that's just one guy, and they still prevailed.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then finally,
Monday Night Football.
The Monday Night Football game that nobody watched, unless there were fantasy
But you should have watched.
The Dolphins at the Steelers.
Jumped out to a great start, and then they decided your opponent has left the match after the first 5 minutes of the game.
Pretty much, yeah.
I remember watching, I was like, Mexican food place, and I'm like, oh my gosh, here we go. 14-0. Will they get their first wins? Will the Yinzer mob burn down the city of Pittsburgh? But nope, they decided to stop playing after the first quarter.
Well, also too, Mason Rudolph also decided to show up after the first quarter.
Yes.
He had I saw something like he had 14 yards in the first quarter.
Yeah, he was horrible, and he had 2 picks. Actually, was it 2? I remember he threw the first one. I know it was a pick. The second one might have been a fumble. I think it was a pick, though. I can't remember. But turnovers were a problem.
Didn't James Conner get hurt at the end of the game?
Yes, he did, and he is out. He was listed as out.
For how long?
I think he saw it was doubtful.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm not going to take a chance on him this week. Jalen Samuel should be coming back from injury, so just in time.
Yeah, this is a rough year for Pittsburgh and injuries.
Well, I'd be interested to see where they are with Roethlisberger. I mean, he's Roethlisberger. Mm-hmm. I still think that they would have... Well, I'm trying to think. They still maintain a pretty good defense. I still think that Connor's really good. But I think the main issue was when they lost Brown, that was a huge blow because I don't think Juju can handle being that. Well, he can handle it, but it's hard because every team just doubles Juju, and then he got scrubs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who's the other guy worth noting? James Washington?
Exactly.
That's why Juju was good, because Brown would attract all the attention, and then Juju would just be wide open and catch the big play.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, who knows where they'd be if Brown stayed. They'd be really competitive this year, especially with those rookie additions on defense like Devin Bush.
Yeah. And Pittsburgh fans, I know you're looking at your record right now, and you're seeing some hope because you're 3-4. You have beat Cincinnati, the Chargers, and the Dolphins. You have lost to the Ravens, the 49ers, the Seahawks, and the Pats. So...
Well, their only hope's what? The wild card? The Ravens are going to run away with that.
Yeah.
At least I think. And... unless they just turn into world beaters.
What I'm seeing here is any team over 500, Pittsburgh has not beat, and any team under 500, they have beat. So, at least the season's half over, Pittsburgh Steelers fans.
Just waiting for Roethlisberger to get back.
Yeah, well, that's next year, so.
Sporgy.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Are you ready?
To find solutions.
Ready.
For new opportunity.
Ready.
To take charge of the future. St. Joseph's College in Brooklyn offers a safe, flexible, and affordable education so you can be ready for what's next. And we make it easy to transfer, so you can stay on course to complete your degree. Attend an upcoming virtual transfer and adult enrollment day to see how. Register at sjcny.edu/BK transfer event.
Are you ready?
St. Joseph's College.
Ready?
Set.
Joe's.
Look in your home. Look in your office. Look in your home office. Everywhere you turn, there's so much smart. At Capella University, we think education should be smart too. Our game-changing FlexPath format puts you in control of your master's degree, so you can learn how, when, and where you want. Smart, huh? Yeah, we think so too. So if you want to take the next step in your career, make Capella your first step. Visit capella.edu to learn more. Capella University. Don't just learn smarter.
It's Wild Card Weekend, and you can follow all the action at BetOnline.net. For the first time in league history, 6 games are on the board during the opening round of the playoffs. Feature games Saturday include Indy at Buffalo and LA at Seattle. On Sunday, Chicago visits the Big Easy, while divisional rivals Cleveland and Pittsburgh square off. Check out all the action this week at BetOnline.net as the journey to Tampa gets underway. Always available online or your mobile device. Visit BetOnline.net today. Bring the game home at BetOnline.net.
It's easy to find flooring online, but imagining those floors on your floor, a bit trickier. So Lumber Liquidators made Picture It, which adds our floors to a photo of your space. Just point, snap, and choose a floor. It's great if you're looking for new floors. Also, still fun if you're not. Try Picture It, only at llflooring.com. These are the floors homes are built on. Get free samples of your favorite floors sent to your home. Visit llflooring.com to order today.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Sporgy.
All right, Jack, so I think it is time for you to tell us
The perfect lineup.
our MVP lineup, perfect lineup, the jacked up lineup.
Well, I mean, this is insane that I can't believe I'm saying this. If I told somebody that in week 8, the best quarterback in the entire league in terms of that week, stat-wise, was Daniel Jones, I would have been laughed at. 28 completions, 322 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 4 touchdowns, 3 sacks, but he did lose a fumble. But that's still insane. Kind of a lackluster weeks in terms of quarterbacks. Nobody really went off. Now I think about it, so I guess he would just happen to be one of the guys that had a better week than everybody else. And then, RB1, Aaron Jones. Just talked about him. 13 rushes, 67 rushing yards. Caught 7 of 8 for 159 receiving yards and 2 receiving touchdowns.
Yeah.
Threat in the passing game. And then RB2, I don't know why he's not RB1, but Mr. Coleman, 11 rushes, 105 rushing yards, 3 rushing touchdowns, and he decided to cap it off with a receiving touchdown. So that was nice. And then our wide receiver 1, Mike Evans, 11 of 12, 198 yards, 2 receiving TDs. Solid day. And then Cooper Kupp decided to catch 7 of 10, 220 yards and a receiving touchdown. So, and then tight end, we have this is like the Zach Pascal of last week. Some random guy decided to have a great game. So Ryan Griffin, tight end for the New York Jets. He caught 4 of 4 for 66 yards and 2 receiving touchdowns. He also had a 2-point conversion. So, Herndon got injured as soon as he came back from suspension. And this guy seems to be stepping up, proving his worth. So then our kicker, again, just whoever scores a lot of points. 2 29-yard field goals. He had a field goal that was between 40 and 50, and then he had that big one that was 50-plus, and he also had a PAT.
Who was that?
And then
Vinatieri?
Dan Bailey.
Oh, Dan Bailey.
And then 3rd week in a row, who else but the defense and special team of the New England Patriots. And here we go, the stat line that is, 2 full lines long, 13 points allowed, 5 sacks, an interception, 2 fumble recoveries, a defensive touchdown, 50 return yards, 4 down stops, 4 tackles for a loss, 2 3-and-outs, and that's just ridiculous. That's insane.
They're not going to lose. I really think this is the year the 72 Dolphins are finally unseated.
Well, this is their, in my opinion, biggest test yet when they got the Baltimore Ravens. I still don't think they're going to lose, but I think it'll at least be close.
I mean, so far their biggest test defensively was Buffalo?
Bills?
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah, it's just, Jackson's going to have to do it with his feet. He's going to, because you throw it up, Gilmore's just going to sit there.
Yeah, he's just going to,
bat him down.
Probably pick it off as well. And then that defensive front is ridiculous, so he's going to either have to, A, get rid of it quickly, or going to recognize in, the 3 seconds that he has to make sure, well, either to get the ball out of his hands or decide that he's going to take it and run. Well, I mean, there's no weaknesses. There's an exceptional defensive front. You have linebackers that'll come after Jackson, and you got exceptional corners that'll keep everybody blocked. So, I mean, it's going to be a tough task for Jackson and company.
Yeah. I see a lot of marking room.
Keep it on the ground.
All right, so your MVP lineup. So now it's time for your power trio, whatever we call it here.
Really the untitled segment.
Yes.
So last week, Zach Pascal, that was just, he had like an insane week. He even made the MVP lineup, but of course he returns down to earth with a whopping 1 catch and 6 receiving yards. And this was the guy that, it wasn't Edmonds, it was Pascal, because I remember looking up his stats and I see 76 return yards. So instead of 76 receiving yards, he got 76 return yards. So if you were one of the people that took a chance on him, he got you a whopping 0.6 points with 6 receiving yards.
Oof.
And then we had Tannehill, again, average game, 21 completions, 193 yards, 3 touchdowns. Could have used some more yards there, really only 193, but he was sacked 3 times. He did fumble, but he was able to get it back. So, I mean, you're not, at least he wasn't throwing a lot of interceptions or anything. That's a pretty solid day. Then we had Kenny Stills. He returned to irrelevance with 3 of 5 for 22 yards. So, welcome back, Kenny Stills, to the basement. And then this week, I believe we've talked about him already. Chris Conley, versus the Jets, 4 of 7 for 103 yards and a touchdown. He caught that 70-yard bomb on one of the first plays of the game. It's only 4% owned. We'll play Houston at home next week. And let's see what I wrote down in my notes here. Trending upwards. Last week 3 for 7, 83 receiving yards. And also says that D.D. Westbrook has been banged up, so he's been getting some extra snaps with him being out. Well, not out, but just injured, and so they want to put other guys in just to make sure that Westbrook heals up better, so Chris Conley could be an option. And then we got Jonnu Smith, tight end for the Tennessee, and this is actually could be huge, as he did catch 6 for 7, 78 yards and a receiving touchdown against Tampa Bay. But the big thing is this comes with Walker injured, and if Walker remains out, this could be a huge play and possibly even a TE1. They have to play Carolina next week, which is a middle-of-the-road defense. But, I mean, this guy could be huge if Delaney Walker remains out next week. And in the future, because I think he's a younger guy. So keep an eye on that. And then our Hail Mary of the week, a guy who, well, I want to say that Detroit fans had high hope for, but I don't really know, so you'll have to tell me if I'm right. But Danny Amendola versus the New York Giants caught 8 for 8 for 95 receiving yards. And he's trending upwards as he had 105 receiving yards last week. So maybe you got to keep an eye on.
You're not the first person I've heard bring him up in the last couple days, so you're on the right track there with all the fantasy football pundits.
Did you have high hopes for him coming in for the season? Because I know you're a Lions fan.
No, because I'm a Lions fan, so no. But I'm the eternal cynic when it comes to the Lions. They need to sell the team. But
it's like the Browns guy this week. I remember after the Browns traded that linebacker to us, this guy went on a rant, and he's like, I'm disappointed, but since I'm a Browns fan, I'm used to being disappointed. So
yeah, pretty much that's how I feel as a Lions fan.
Well,
and then just
see how that goes. So
wrapping up waivers here. Mentioned him before. You already mentioned him 2 weeks ago, but I've seen him on a lot of waiver wires. Darren Fells.
Yes, 2 touchdowns.
He seems to be, like I said, Houston was going with tight end by committee, and Aaron Fells seems to be the guy that is emerging.
He's winning the job.
Getting the targets. So if you see him, pick him up. Chris Conley. I've seen Mecole Hardman floating around out there. Is he a starter? No. But he's a pass catcher on the Chiefs. It's worth rolling the dice. But other than that, I mean, it seems like we've been saying this for the last month, just not slim pickings on waivers again this week.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to think is there any notable injuries this week? What, Edmonds? I wonder who the next guy is up there. What now? Well, I guess now it's Drake, actually.
Yeah.
So will Kenyon Drake be a legitimate play week 9?
We will see.
We shall see.
Has he ever been one? Maybe for like a year.
Well, I mean, yeah. But, I mean, the fact that I want to say he left irrelevance, but, I mean, you're coming to Arizona, you're still pretty much irrelevant. But who knows? Maybe he'll wow everybody in the first week. Never know.
Arizona has won 3 more games than the Dolphins, so he's already ahead.
Sporgy.
ChristopherMedia.net.
It's Wild Card Weekend, and you can follow all the action at BetOnline.net. For the first time in league history, 6 games are on the board during the opening round of the playoffs. Feature games Saturday include Indy at Buffalo and LA at Seattle. On Sunday, Chicago visits the Big Easy, while divisional rivals Cleveland and Pittsburgh square off. Check out all the action this week at BetOnline.net as the journey to Tampa gets underway. Always available online or your mobile device. Visit BetOnline.net today. Bring the game home at BetOnline.net.
Reinvent yourself at UCLA Extension. Explore continuing education programs to enhance and expand your skill set. Gain real-world skills taught by industry experts that you can apply immediately. Learn from anywhere and choose from a wide variety of online courses in entertainment, digital technology, business, engineering, and more. Winter quarter begins January 4th. Learn more at uclaextension.edu.
What's up? It's Sierra, new member and ambassador for WW Weight Watchers Reimagined. Since joining, I feel healthier and more confident than ever. The new My WW Plus, our most holistic program ever, gives you more of what you need to lose weight, like tools to help boost your mindset, get you moving, and plan meals based on what you have on hand. Plus, over 300 zero-point foods you don't have to track. The new My WW Plus, more holistic, more personalized, more weight loss.
Join today with a limited time offer at WW.com.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Sporgy.
All right. So this
Moving
week
to week 9.
All
so
right.
I got the spreads.
Yep. The Thursday night game. The Halloween game.
Yes. San Francisco at AZ.
Yeah, speaking of Arizona.
Arizona. Home dogs, unsurprisingly, plus 9.5.
Yeah. The rare 4:30 game for you guys out there on the West Coast.
Yes, start pretty much anybody on the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, the backfield's banged up. Both Breida and Jeff Wilson didn't practice today.
Oh man!
So, but it's short, but also too, it's a short week, so
yeah,
they could just be resting people. Yeah,
that's why I'm kind of shocked Breeze came back last week because they had the bye this week.
That's what everyone was saying, but I guess Drew Brees
was
is
like, what?
Whatever, I'm a full-grown man, and my thumb feels better. Let's go. Arizona. Do you want to start anyone on this offense against that defense? I don't.
No, I
don't. So we'll move on to the Sunday game.
Yes, we will. And
anything in London this week?
Yes, our last London game of the year.
Oh, wow.
And as the Houston Texans play, what we've come to know as the NFL's London team, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yes,
the Jaguars. Yes, they are.
Yeah, the rumors that this team will eventually end up in London never go away.
And Jacksonville +2.
Yeah.
So, Houston favorite.
Oh, that's it. Still, though, it's a pretty small line for playing Houston. But then again, too, both teams are traveling. They're both, I think. I mean, Houston's maybe one time zone over from Jacksonville, so that's really not gonna. It's not like it's LA and an East Coast.
Well, I remember watching a few fantasy football shows on TV, like when there's nothing on this fantasy football show on. It's called the Fantasy Football Hour, and they always say, they always play this game called like over under, and they're like, a guy over or under 2.5 touchdowns, and then so they say, Ronald Jones are like, well, this is a London game this week. You never know what happens with London games, so I don't know what to say. London always makes weird stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you start D-Hop, you start Deshaun Watson,
and you'll see what happens.
Do you start Gardner Minshew? Is he startable?
I want to say yes if you're a Matt Ryan owner that, you can't really start Matt Ryan this week. Like, what's your phrase? What, bye weeks and injuries?
Yeah.
Like, Minshew is falls under that category as of right now.
DJ Chark and Leonard Fournette, though, are set it and forget it guys at this point. Yeah.
That's about it.
About it for that game. Ooh, Washington at Buffalo. Well, won't hear us say this often. Start your Bills.
-9.5, Buffalo.
Yeah. If you're gonna start Frank Gore, if you're gonna start Devin Singletary, if you're gonna start Josh Allen, this is the game. Unless they play they got another game against Miami, right, coming up, but still.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Stay
boring game.
Stay away from any Redskins, and probably a good week to start the Buffalo defense if it's still even out there on
coming off
wire.
That L. I think they'll be ready to redeem themselves with bye week 2.0. Washington Redskins.
Minnesota at Kansas City.
Now, there's actually no spread for this game.
Oh, wow, it's even?
Yep. I couldn't find anything.
Wow.
Well, my dad had explained to me, well, if you can't find anything, that means no spread.
Don't you give 3 to the home team if there's no spread?
I think so.
I believe your dad also taught me that. Yeah, I mean, I would say, quite honestly, with no Mahomes, I'd call these teams pretty evenly matched. Might even say Minnesota's got the edge a little bit because they have Dalvin Cook. They have Thielen's going to be back. They have Diggs. And Kansas City's got Cheetah and whoever else. They got Kelsey. But you have the backfield. So it's... Yeah, you start your Minnesota receivers. You start Dalvin Cook. Quarterbacks, you stay away from in this game.
No, do not start your quarterbacks.
And you stay away from the Kansas City backfield. Just because, again, by committee.
Who knows who will have a good game?
Mm-hmm.
Or will anybody have a good game? Will it just be a, LeSean McCoy 100 yards and then Damian Williams just like 2?
Yeah.
Never know.
And unfortunately, if Mahomes is playing, I'd say this could be a shootout. But
yeah, this would be an amazing game. We're robbed of another game by an injury. Another great game.
But also at the same time, he has not been officially ruled out, so we don't know if he's not playing.
Andy Reid.
He practiced last week.
Hopefully he comes around. I really hope he does. Well, if he does come around, then forget everything we just said. Start your quarterbacks. You only start Mahomes.
Mm-hmm. And if you didn't think there was a game worse than Washington and Buffalo, you weren't ready for this one. The Jets at Miami.
At Miami, yes. Ugh. And why is there even a spread? I don't know, but the Jets -3.
Le'Veon Bell, is that the only person you start in this game?
I think it's actually. Well, I guess Miami is. I was going to say it's safe to say that we're not going to start Robbie Anderson anymore. But against Miami, he might have a McLaurin type day where he gets a college secondary to have fun with.
But too, it also seems Demaryius Thomas is emerging as a more favored target of Sam Darnold,
as well as Ryan Griffin, the tight end.
Yeah, there's still tickets available for this game. You can get them for as low as $20 if you're in the Miami area.
$23. Yep. Have fun. Enjoy your Sunday.
Yeah. Chicago at Philly.
Oh my God! Well,
2 years ago, that's an awesome game.
Yeah, that's a great game. Thriller.
This year,
Philly's favored -4.5.
Yeah, because I like their offense better. But is there anyone, though, in the Philly offense that has set it and forget it? It used to be Zach Ertz.
Well, do we have a Joe Mixon situation for Zach Ertz or no?
Yeah, because you can't drop Zach Ertz.
You can't do it. He was like, top rated guy coming in.
I still think for his
accolades last season.
But I still think as far as fantasy points, like if he was any other tight end, we'd be going, he's doing great, wonderful. But because he's Zach
Ertz, year.
we're saying he's
high
underwhelming. So, and then Chicago. I mean, I've heard
Allen
people
Robinson,
start
maybe
talking, and the name Anthony Miller started coming up again.
Well,
but yeah, and I say with David Montgomery, I'm viewing, like I said last week, as the exception rather than the rule. Don't fall for it. But again, we're in a Joe Mixon situation with David Montgomery. You drop him, you're dropping their RB1, and. Yeah,
there's an issue when
there's just some guys where volume you have to keep them, right?
You have to take it. Yeah, I mean they're going to get the snaps, they're going to get the plays, and you just have to start them hoping they do something. But I mean, I still think it's an issue when your so-called franchise quarterback. It's news to see who's starting next week. When you have to, when you're waiting to see what Nagy says, and obviously, he said he's going to start Trubisky, but when Bears fans have to wonder who's going to start your next game, that just makes you worried.
The fact that Chase Daniels is even in the conversation is ridiculous.
Nick Foles wants to know your location.
Exactly. Yeah, it's for fantasy purposes, stay away from this. Maybe Dallas Goedert, but again, no one in this game has said it and forget it. Indianapolis at Pittsburgh. Speaking of nobody being set it and forget it, no one on Pittsburgh. Not this year.
James Conner, but he's always hurt.
Yeah.
At least this year.
Durability seems to be, he was hurt last year too. So durability seems to be coming into play this season for James Conner. Because isn't this the second time he's been hurt this season too?
Yeah, I think so. Are we enforcing the Mixon rule on Smith-Schuster?
Yeah, because he's the number one guy. He's the number one.
There's like a Mixon rule for legit every team.
Yeah.
There's always one guy.
He's the number one.
You can't do it.
All the passes are going his way generally. You can't drop him. It sucks.
Can't do it.
And then Indianapolis, T.Y. Hilton and Marlon Mack. If you got them, you're starting them. Jacoby Brissett.
Bye weeks and injuries.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm calling him a starter yet, but he's definitely worth rostering for, like I said, bye weeks and injuries. And yeah, anyone else in Indy? Nah.
No.
Eric Ebron.
What happened to T.Y. Hilton? Is he hurt? I'm trying to remember because I legit haven't heard anything.
I think he's just having a quiet year.
Quiet year. I don't know anything.
But again,
off year.
He's still the number one pass catcher, so what do you do?
Yeah, start him.
Tennessee at Carolina. CMC is a lock. And that's really all I want on the Carolina offense, really. Kyle Allen.
Everybody else is just a roll of the dice.
It sounds like Kyle Allen's going to lose his job after the bye week, whether he wins or not. Yeah?
Oh, Newton's coming back?
Yeah.
He was the guy I thought should be traded at the deadline.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, your team goes undefeated, well, until the Niners game, but your team goes undefeated for the first however many games, and then you still want to put your other guy. It's like, it's almost like you owe Newton the starts. It's not like you're making a football decision. You're making a decision based off, this guy's been our guy for so long. We feel obligated to start him.
Kind of. You paid him all that money. Got to get your money's worth out of him.
You should have got picks for him at their deadline.
But do you want... there's no pass catcher in this offense. That's the problem. Do you want any receiver? I should say, do you want any receiver that's like I said, locked in as a starter? No.
No.
And then Tennessee, yeesh. Derrick Henry, the end, right?
Another roll of the dice there.
Yeah. A.J. Brown keeps coming up on
interesting game.
A.J. Brown keeps coming up in waiver talk, but he keeps on doing nothing. Mm-hmm. I mean, Corey Davis, I mean, that's just over. Yeah, and Tannehill, we need some more data on him before we start saying you should pick him up. The Lions at Oakland. Now, if you asked me a month ago, what'd you say? Lions -2?
No, Oakland -2.
Oh, Oakland -2?
Wow,
Oakland's favored. No.
Okay.
Well,
how you feel about that, Lions fans?
That's why. But yeah, a month ago, I'm saying the Lions are winning this game. Now, I don't know. Especially now that there's no carry-on. The only Lions I really want a part of, Stafford for bye weeks and injuries, and Galladay. That's it. Hockenson,
Marvin Jones, never know.
Yeah, Hockenson and Jones have been boom or bust. And, yeah, that's it. Running back, stay away from the Detroit running back situation. And in Oakland, I think, Josh Jacobs is a locked-in starter, right?
Yeah, he's been getting it done. Tyrell Williams.
I don't know if he's locked in. He's definitely worth having.
It's like either a flex or a bench guy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if he's not wide receiver 1 or 2, but he's definitely a flex play. I'll give you that. Yeah, Derek Carr, no thanks. And then, no receivers other than Tyrell Williams worth messing with here on Oakland. And Waller, he's locked in. Duh.
Oh yeah.
But that's it. Waller and Jacobs, those are the only Raiders you're starting if you have them, at least every week. Tampa Bay at Seattle.
Seattle's a lock.
Yeah.
-6.5.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they got embarrassed at home 2 weeks ago by the Ravens.
Although, with Seattle, do you want Lockett and Wilson? That's it, right? Or Carson?
Yeah. Drop Rashad Penny, if you haven't already.
And I don't know if I'm really that hot on Carson or Lockett as starters. Maybe Carson, but I think might. I think there's better options than those guys. But as far as
what's
Seattle
defense,
they're your volume guys, though, right?
Yeah, you got Mixon, another Mixon move.
Yeah. Well, Carson
seems like there's a lot of
he
that.
stopped fumbling, so he's got that going for him.
Good job.
DK Metcalf's boomer bust. I mean, Russell Wilson is like if you want anyone in this offense, I'm not saying Lockett and Carson aren't worth it starters, but I mean the guy you want locked in every week is Russell Wilson.
Well, I mean, do you start Metcalf because the Rams and the Saints have bye weeks this week? So let's say you have Thomas and maybe like Cooper Kupp or Robert Woods. I feel like Metcalf is going to be a solid play this week for people that have Rams and Saints.
Yeah,
unless there's legit anybody else
flex play for sure.
Metcalf is a flex play. And you can find that again.
And in Tampa Bay.
Oh my! Don't touch Ronald Jones or Peyton Barber. Don't do it. Don't even think about it.
Yeah, I had Peyton Barber on a couple teams a couple weeks ago just for bye week purposes. He's long gone, and I believe with my waiver claims this week, I have officially cut all ties with Ronald Jones. So I agree with you there. Mike Evans,
lock.
Yeah, Evans and Godwin, right? That's it.
Do not even own Jameis Winston.
Yeah, Jameis Winston's a guy
I'm not even injuries or bye weeks on that. I think he's that bad.
I dropped Jameis this week to pick up Matt Ryan because someone dropped him, which is dumb. Because while Atlanta not having the best year, at least
showing up.
Yeah, Ryan has been there doing his job as a fantasy quarterback. I believe he's a top 10 guy this year. So, Tampa Bay, Godwin, Evans. You want no part of tight ends on this team. You want no part of the backfield. And maybe if Jameis gets his shit together, maybe someone you could pick up off waivers for the fantasy playoffs in a month. But right now, he's He gets picked too much. For every touchdown he's throwing, he's losing half the points for a pick.
So yeah, he's annoying. He'll be like, "Oh my god, 4 touchdowns," and then he'll throw a pick, and you'll be like, "Oh my god,
4 touchdowns and 3 picks. Cool, you took away half the points. Good job." Cleveland at Denver.
What an interesting game.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the Browns are favored by 3, -3 for Cleveland. I mean, Flacco's out, but I mean, really?
I've liked Cleveland's offense better, even with Joe Flacco. But yeah, you got
that tough defense in a tough place to play.
Yeah. But Cleveland, you don't want Baker Mayfield. Oh, OBJ is he's a flex play at this point, right?
Honestly, I mean, I would say Mixon situation, but
Chubb's a starter.
Yeah, if he stops fumbling,
and
unreal.
Then that's it, right? Anyone else in the Cleveland offense you want or you're starting?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't know, there's legit nobody else. I think I own Landry, but I think he's just the bench warmer at this point. He legit does nothing for me anyway. Anytime.
And then Denver, Freeman, Lindsey, Sutton. That's it. And Freeman and Lindsey, Sutton, I'd say at this point, is getting close to being a locked-in starter, simply because he's the guy now that Emmanuel Sanders is gone. But again, Denver's another backfield situation where pick a week. One week it's going to be Freeman, next week it's going to be Lindsey.
It's like a Packers or Buccaneers situation.
Both backs are worth owning, but both backs are not locked-in starters, so it's kind of a week-to-week thing with those guys.
It's a crapshoot.
Yep. And then Green Bay heading out to L.A., taking on the Chargers.
Now, somebody explain to me how the Green Bay Packers are only favored -3.5? Because we can't really call this a home game for the Chargers, and the Chargers are not good.
They're traveling. They're traveling west. That's why.
It is a hard.
That's the jet lag line.
A long week. It's a long week.
Yeah. That's but I mean, is Aaron Rodgers? Is he back to we're locked in, or is he still kind of?
I believe so. I think he's proven his worth.
But still, as far you want no Green Bay receivers, none of them. If they're not named Devontae Adams, you know we're in kind of like a Kansas City situation here when Cheetah was gone. Without Devontae Adams, flip a coin. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is going to make a star out of somebody.
Allison on one side and Valdez-Scantling on the other.
And apparently his stock's dropping, and what's his name? Lazard's stock is rising.
Oh yeah,
so that's the thing. Like
Lazard flying under the radar. Yeah, he's the new Byron Pringle. This is the exact same situation as we had in Kansas City. One guy gets hurt. You know, we have 2 guys. We have Hardman and Robinson, and so it's Allison and Valdez-Scantling on the Packers, and then this third guy arises to the top. So that was Pringle in Kansas City, and now it's Lazard. So
yeah,
we shall see.
On Green Bay, you're starting Rodgers. I think at this point, Aaron Jones is a locked-in starter. Jimmy
Graham.
What's that?
Jimmy Graham? Yes, no?
No. If you are desperate, maybe. But Aaron Jones locked in, and then probably Jamal Williams as a flex play. And that's all you want on Green Bay. That's it. And then the Chargers. I mean, the top 3 really are... You got to start them all, right? Melvin Gordon, Phillip, Keenan. Maybe even Hunter Henry.
Well, I'm trying to think. Did Eckler do anything last week?
Yes. He had himself I believe he caught a touchdown.
He did. I still don't know what's going on there. It's like Melvin Gordon he's been wrapping up preseason for the past few weeks.
Yeah.
And they're just sticking with Eckler.
Mm-hmm. But he's as much money as they're paying him, they're gonna feed him the ball.
You got to do it.
Mm-hmm. And then Eckler's a flex play because he's the passing back. And yeah, really. And then
end of list.
Yeah, maybe Chargers defense is a streaming defense, and that's a maybe. It's also if they're available as well. And then the Sunday night game is going to be a good one. We talked about it earlier. New England heading to Baltimore,
and New England favored -3.5.
So let's see. You start Tom Brady. You start Edelman. You start Sony Michel. You start the defense.
Oh yes, you do.
And then
this is like the first week they're having a test, at least on D.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think they'll rise to the occasion.
Hey, is James White a flex play? James White's always a flex play, right?
I have to play James White this week because, who is it? Edmonds is out. So let's see how that happens.
And especially if you're in a PPR league, James White is always a flex play. Rex Burkhead... Don't bother. Leave him. If you see him on the waiver wire, leave him. Same with Philip Dorsett. Don't fall for it. Sanu, need a couple more weeks. See how
he's going to prove his worth.
Yeah, how he's going to fit into that scheme. Baltimore, you're starting Lamar Jackson. You're starting Mark Ingram. You're starting Mark Andrews. But everybody else,
Brown on the bench.
Yeah, Hollywood Brown is this year's leading boomer bust candidate.
Yes, he is. He's like the DK Metcalf of Baltimore.
You know, I'm surprised Baltimore didn't make a move at the trade deadline for a pass catcher.
You know, they should have gone out and got Kenny Stills because I feel like he's being underutilized.
Mm-hmm.
Just because they got D-Hop and Fuller, he's virtually not needed there. So they should have picked him up. That would have been a good pick.
Yeah. And then the Monday night game, Dallas at the Giants.
Blowout.
Yeah.
Dallas only favored by 7, though.
You're starting the usual suspects with Dallas. Your Dax, your Zeke.
Well, sensing a trend here that the Giants will be down, but then they'll make it close in garbage time.
Yeah.
So I think that's why your spread is...
Because, you got to remember, too, with them, that's a division game. So even
here we go.
crap
Rivalry.
piles.
They're going to rise up to their occasion. Rivalry game. Got to make the fans happy.
Yep. Even the crap piles will get up for a division game. But anyone else in Dallas we're starting other than the big three, like maybe...
Cooper, Dak, and Elliott?
Dak and Zeke, yeah. I mean, maybe Michael Gallup's a flex play.
Is Witten even worth owning? Like, I don't own him in any leagues.
Who?
I don't even think it's Witten.
Witten? I have him as a backup in a couple leagues, and I believe this week I cut ties with him. I mean, for a tight end, I mean, he is right on that border.
Cusp.
Yeah, of being a top 10. Like, he's serviceable. That's about it. Like his performance on Monday Night Football. He was serviceable. But that's about it. Yeah, and in New York...
Barkley.
Saquon, Ingram. That's it. You know, if this were 2015, I'd tell you Golden Tate, but it's not.
Oh my God, this be a game in 2015.
Yeah, exactly. But it's... I'm not telling you Danny Dimes is a streamer just yet.
Well, I gotta ask you now that I think about it. Will Dez Bryant play an NFL snap this season?
No.
Oh. I am shocked that nobody has signed him. As much people that just need an extra wideout, I think the Eagles should sign him.
Durability, man. Durability. You ever owned him in fantasy
that
football?
was ridiculous. You can't believe he signed that contract with the Saints and then just, snapped his ankle the next day.
I can, because I've owned him in fantasy football a few times. He's
injury prone?
Yeah, he's not
durable. Talk about injury prone. Can we get a rest in peace to J.J. Watt? Come on, man. You got to stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
What an absolute great guy, but then it seems like he gets hurt every year. I think he's the Andrew Luck of the defense.
Think he's going to retire? Is he still too young? I don't know. He's been in the league a while.
Yes.
He's not a rookie anymore.
I think if you add up his total games, it'll say he's played like 3 seasons when he's played like 6.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel bad for the guy. He's such a good guy.
Well, yeah, he's a nice guy. He's a great player. He's 30 years old. I wouldn't be surprised.
We shall see.
But he had a surgery, and it was on a pec muscle, so it wasn't anything like on,
Yeah, it's not like a knee or anything.
Yeah, it wasn't like a career ending. But yeah, that definitely changes the outlook. If you're a Texans fan, your season definitely looks a little different now than it did before. All right. Well, that's it for this week.
Do you have a bold prediction of the week?
A bold prediction. Let's see here. Minnesota beats Kansas City in their own house. What about you?
I'm looking over these games. I'm seeing a lot of mediocre teams playing mediocre teams, like Lions in Oakland, Buccaneers. Oh well, no. Carolina and Tennessee. Colts and Steelers. A lot of just
Detroit and Oakland.
A lot of fair games, but for whatever reason, I feel like, do I want to say the Giants are going to beat Dallas Cowboys? The Dallas Cowboys are 0-1 in MetLife Stadium this year. Are they going to be able to go 0-2?
That is a bold prediction.
That's my bold prediction of the week.
You know what? I'm going to change mine. I'm going to say the Miami Dolphins are getting a win this week.
I was seeing a lot of stuff. I was seeing, week 9 picks. Dolphins get first win. I was like, okay. That is a good one.
That's bold.
That is a good one.
Because they are playing the Jets.
Very bold.
Your dad will tell you don't sleep on the Jets' defense, and he's right. But
well, if they lose to the Miami Dolphins, will we stop seeing, Le'Veon Bell consoling his fans after every win on Instagram? I'm still here, guys. I'm still me. We'll get through this, but I don't think you can recover if you lose this game.
He almost got traded. Allegedly,
he should have got traded.
The Jets were shopping him around today.
Same with Jamal Adams.
But they didn't. Apparently, they didn't get.
Same with Robbie Anderson. Yeah, there's a lot of people there who's about to leave.
Mm-hmm.
But nope, prices were too high.
Yeah, I think this will be Le'Veon's only season in a Jets uniform.
Wow.
I think he's basically going to be using this year to get back into football shape, and then he'll go on to a winner next year.
Patriots were
probably
up for a 6th round pick.
Patriots are, for love of God, Detroit. Come to Detroit.
Well,
Detroit doesn't do what they're supposed to do, so no, he'll probably end up somewhere Kansas City.
Yeah, that'd be actually a good pickup. Be a great pickup for Kansas City. They'd be bona fide stud next year.
Yeah,
at least on offense.
All right. Well, we're halfway through the regular season. We're 4 weeks away from the fantasy playoffs. It always goes so quickly. Damn it. But whatever. We thank you for listening. You've let me know that this little experiment I wanted to try this year was successful. So we thank everybody who's listening. We are at the Fantasy Hack on Twitter.
Thank you.
The Fantasy Hack at ChristopherMedia.net if you want to email us. Also check out Sporgy, the big show. Happens Thursdays with me, Rich, and the Iceman. And that's at Sporgy Podcast on Twitter. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, the iHeartRadio app, Spreaker. I'm probably saying things twice because we're on so many things, but that's where we're at. Oh, and ChristopherMedia.net as well. So thanks for listening. Make sure you set your lineups, and we will catch you next week.
Bye.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net. ChristopherMedia.net.
If you like this show, please tell a friend. Please make sure to rate and comment on all your favorite Christopher Media shows. Please follow us on Twitter and like and share us on Facebook. You can subscribe to all ChristopherMedia.net shows for free on ChristopherMedia.net. Thank you for listening, and thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.